Why do so many dogs die before their time? Actress and dog activist Katherine Heigl, who's helped save over 16,000 dogs through her foundation, says she's seeing more issues with dogs' joints, odors, and health than ever before. And after doing a ton of research, she feels there's one place we can look to support any dog's health: their food. So she decided to create something she could actually feel good about feeding her dogs. Superfood Complete by Badlands Ranch is made with over 30 of the healthiest ingredients on the planet, including premium protein-packed beef, nutrient-dense organ meat, heart-healthy salmon, gut-healthy vegetables, and several superfoods vital to your dog's health. And because high-heat cooking can add unhealthy things to your dog's food, Superfood Complete uses air drying, so it gets cooked low and slow. This means it has the convenience of kibble, but the health benefits of whole foods. If you want your dog to experience all these incredible benefits, go to badlandsranch.com/save50 right now to get up to 50% off your order and a 90-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's BADLANDS ranch.com/save50 today. All dogs are unique. Your dog's results can and will vary.
O'Reilly.
You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Thank you for tuning in to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Whether you're listening during your commute, while working out, or just relaxing at home, we appreciate you. Every download, every listen, and every subscription means a lot. Up next, the 12 Kyle podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. And thank you for subscribing to the latest edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. I am your boy, 12 Kyle. Man, check this out. You see the title. This is the 600th episode of the 12 Kyle podcast. Hey, I got to say something. I got to say thank you. I had no plans to get to 600. I'm happy that I'm here. But I'll be honest, 600 came pretty quickly. And the reason why I say that is because at the time of this recording, today is November the 2nd. November the 2nd of 2023 was when I released my 500th episode. So to get to 600 within a calendar year is pretty impressive. And again, it's not something that I set out to do because I don't sit around and count episodes. There's a mechanism that lets you know when you hit a milestone. But no, if I told you that I woke up today and said, hey, today is episode 600, I'd be lying, right? So I'm thankful and I'm grateful, one, that you guys tune in each and every week for all of these episodes. And as I was looking at some of the episodes that I did over the past year, it's a little mind-blowing because it doesn't feel like it's been 100 episodes within a year, but I've also been able to kind of understand the range of the things that I've talked about, which I take a little pride in because it's not a specific thing that you're going to get each time that you listen to this podcast. You're going to get a little bit of this, you're going to get a little bit of that, but you're mostly going to get me. And so for those of you who show up and show out every week to hear me talk, I really appreciate it. How does it feel to hit 600? It feels cool. It feels cool. It feels just as cool as it was to hit 500. It goes without saying that there's a multitude of podcasts that you could be listening to. I think there's probably about 6 million, probably more than 6 million podcasts worldwide. And you could be listening to all of them. I feel very happy and fortunate that you take some time out of your day to listen to me. And so I'm constantly making sure that I have content for you to listen to. Over this past year, you guys know, or maybe you don't know, I also launched a new venture called the Rap Soul Podcast. And that drops every Monday on all streaming platforms as well as YouTube. and it's been a lot of fun. I just started it back in September of this year, and it's been dope, and it's been great giving you that content as well. So I've been busy, but again, it's not something that I set out to say, okay, well, hey, I want to, do this many numbers, or I want to have this many listens, or have this many streams, or have this, amount of money or anything from the podcast. It's none of that, because there is no money. And you know what? Let me start right there. I get asked that a lot, like, the money aspect of podcasting. Now, I can't speak for everybody, but I will say this much, particularly for those who are looking to get into podcasting. If you're looking to get into podcasting and you're looking to make a bunch of money, don't do it. The reason being is because for most, it's not profitable. It's not, well, let me say this. It's not profitable enough for you to quit your 9 to 5. It could be something that could supplement your income, but people assume for some reason that just because you have a podcast, you got money coming from the podcast. Quite the contrary. At least I can speak for myself. It's quite the contrary. But there's a level of expectation that I have for myself. There's a level of expectation that the people who listen have for me. And there's also a level of expectation of what I plan and aim to deliver to the people who listen. I'm also smart enough to understand that everybody's not going to listen to every episode. So for those of you who kept subscribing, who kept tapping in every, Thursday and every Sunday, I appreciate it. Because again, there's a gazillion things you could probably be listening to or doing. And that's just podcasting. I'm not even talking about what's on TV or what's outside or anything. So I'm very thankful and very grateful. What's next for the 12 Kyle podcast? Just more episodes. I'm committed to do the contract again. So far, there's been no hiccups. So you'll get more of the 12 Kyle podcast in 2025. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'll be back here next November with episode 700. We'll get to 700 whenever we do. But it's not going to be something where like it's something that I'm shooting for and I got to get, these episodes. The episodes just come. There's a mechanism within me that wants to deliver good content. And what I try to do is with the podcast is, and I say this all the time, and I mean this in all sincerity, I really want to bring you into the room. I want you to feel like when I'm on the microphone and talking to you in your ears or through your speakers or what have you, that you feel like you're having a conversation with me. Sometimes you're talking back to me. Sometimes you're arguing with me. Sometimes you're mad at me. But I want to bring you in the room. And I think that's what a good podcast can do. And I know this is a good podcast. So, and I appreciate the compliments, but I know this is a good podcast, modestly speaking. One of the things that I love, and I got a chance to experience this both in my high school homecoming and my college homecoming these past couple of weeks, is coming in contact with people who see your content and, who actually listen. Now, there are some who say, man, I saw your podcast if you say you saw my podcast, you saw a clip. You didn't hear the podcast. You saw a clip, but I'll take that because at some point in time, you're going to press play, right? So if you see the clips enough, at some point, you're going, you know what, let me see what this dude is talking about. And you hit play. But I'm very thankful for those who do that. I'm even more thankful for those who stop and listen, even if it's only for a few minutes. That means a lot because there was something that made you press play. And what I want to do is keep having you press play because I feel like there's conversations that need to be had. Are you feeling nostalgic for the golden eras of rap and soul music? If so, tune in to the Rap Soul Podcast. We are your weekly journey through the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, spotlighting the music and the hidden gems that shaped the soundtrack of our lives. From the powerful beats to the soulful melodies, we bring you the best of the past with fresh insights and stories. Rediscover the music that defined a generation. Subscribe to the Rap Soul Podcast and enjoy the vibes.
What if I told you weight loss is not about willpower, cutting carbs, or working harder in the gym, but instead comes down to flipping a specific switch in your body, one that helps flush out unnecessary calories? Heart surgeon and nutrition expert Dr. Stephen Gundry is revealing a new, simple, but insanely effective way to help get a slim, energized, and healthy body with no deprivation, restrictions, or fads. MCT Wellness can help you flip that switch yourself from the comfort of your own home. This powerful blend of fat-flushing MCT powders and antioxidant-rich polyphenols is designed to help you unlock your body's fat-burning, energy-producing potential. What's even better is that it's a delicious drink. All you do is add a scoop to water and enjoy. Help unlock your body's potential by going to GundryMD.com/energy and order right now to get up to 53% off your order with a 90-day money-back guarantee. Again, that's GUNDRYMD.com/energy.
O'Reilly.
You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge, just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
And so even in these 600 episodes, it's been really dope because I feel like I've covered a lot and without being heavy. And I think because I operate under the mindset of I'm not doing any current events, I think that keeps my podcast fresh. So that means you literally and figuratively could listen to an episode from this past January or this past June or July of 2022 and still feel fresh and still get something from the podcast. It's not dated. And that means a lot to me because I want people to keep coming back. I want people to continue to listen. Another thing I try to do is obviously with my guests, sometimes it's not easy to schedule guests, but everybody seems to show up and, show out for me. And it's always a lot of fun. I try my best to have on guests as much as I can. It's not something set as far as, how many people I'll have on or anything like that. But the people that I do have on and the subjects that we cover, I think are very important. And I want people to get something from it. And even in some of the serious stuff, and I don't really talk about a lot of serious stuff, but, for example, I had one of my best friends, Dr. Jamel, on, and we talked about weight management and wellness. And while that's a very serious subject, we had a lot of fun. And I'll have her back on. And she spoke, and she and I talked, about possibly her starting a podcast. And that made me feel even better because I think she'd be dope at it. My concern to her was, does she have the time? Because she's, top 5 pediatrician in the world. So, when you're working on little kids, I don't really know how much time you got for the podcast, but we'll see. And I've been approached by, a couple other people this past year who have inquired about, starting a podcast, and I'm always open to help and answer any questions. And I appreciate the fact that I have people that reciprocate the same for me. Just to give you some idea, I remember when King Germ from the Pod and Saved Our Marriage podcast hit me up when he was transitioning from the part where he wasn't doing the editing to where he's now doing the editing for his podcast. And he hit me up. He was asking me all these questions like, man, how do I do this? And he really wasn't sure as to how to do it. And I was like, Germ, if I can do it, you can do it. Well, I don't do a lot of editing, but he does actual editing of his podcast with his wife, Queen Germ. Shout out to Queen Germ. And, he was very apprehensive about it, but I, gave him my little bit of game, and he's hit some of the other homies up, and now he's a pro. Fast forward to me upgrading my equipment, and I wanted to work on my podcast through GarageBand. And I hit him up. I like, Jeremy, I don't know how to work GarageBand because I was using different software. So, little things like putting music under my voice, sound effects, things of that nature. It's stuff I'll do more of, but that's a part of the production process that I actually like, and I've been able to achieve all of that stuff, over these last 600 episodes. In conclusion, it's been a great ride. It has been a great ride. It has been a great ride. I'm just really committed to giving you dope shit. Period. Week in, week out. That's it. I've made no secrets about that. That is the goal. The goal is to give you a dope podcast every time I sit down in front of this computer screen behind the microphone. I'm not going to give you something that I don't believe in. There's been some episodes that I have recorded that won't see the light of day. It hasn't been a lot, maybe about 2 or 3, but I just didn't feel like they were up to par. And it's like, it's no different than, being a rapper or a singer. You go in the booth and you push something out and you're like, I ain't feeling it. If I'm not feeling it, trust me, you will never hear it. Anything that I put out, I stand by and I feel comfortable enough to share with the world. But that's a part of being a creative and me being, someone who cares about the content that I put out. Like I said earlier, it feels good to be recognized. I'm not necessarily in it for the monetary reasons. I don't know that podcasting will ever replace my 9 to 5. If it did, that'd be dope, but I'm not waiting around for that. So my job is just to keep putting out good stuff while I'm here. And as long as you guys keep showing up, I'm going to keep showing out. I'm going to keep doing it. And I always said I'm going to keep doing podcasting until I feel like I don't have anything else to say. And from the looks of what I have on tap for 2025, I've got a lot more to say. So you'll have a lot more to listen to. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. Thank you for checking out this edition of the 12 Kyle podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast. The podcast drops every Sunday and every Thursday at midnight. Be sure to check out the Rap Soul podcast. That drops every Monday. You can find that wherever you're finding and listening to this podcast. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/12 Kyle podcast. Be sure to subscribe there. Leave comments. I love comments. The great thing about our YouTube channel is that, we have both audio and video, so you can listen in either medium that you like. Hit us up on social media. We're on Twitter X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and the Threads. And also, if you would like to contribute financially, a couple of ways you can do that. You can hit us up on Cash App, $TWELVEKYLE. And you can hit us up. We have merch. Just look in the description box. There's a link that says merch. Click that link and you can purchase 12 Kyle Podcast t-shirts, hoodies, and coffee mugs like the one I'm holding right here. And you can get these for the low. Again, that's going to do it for me. This has been the 600th episode of the 12 Kyle Podcast. Who knows? You might get 600 more. Until then, I'm your boy 12 Kyle. I'll catch you guys next time. 5 G's. Yeah.
Thanks again for listening to this episode of the 12 Kyle Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and share this podcast with a friend who needs the 12 Kyle Podcast in their life. Every listen, every download, and every share helps us grow. Thanks for being a part of the 12 Kyle Podcast community. We appreciate your support. We will catch you next time. 5,000.